Hello and welcome to iBluairjgr Gaming for Comedy. Today we're going to talk about my favorite Stalker build. I like to call it Attack of the Clones. Now, it's not the strongest Stalker build, it's not the most utility-oriented Stalker build, it's the most unique Stalker build in that it makes use of a very unique ability called Clone. This ability at tier 8 produces 2 copies of your character. Those copies will attack whatever target you're currently engaged with, and they will also attempt to snare that target if it moves too far away. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's first talk about the other less unique abilities and see what this build has to offer. First on the list is Shred. This attack deals low damage to up to 5 targets in front of your character. It's nothing special, it's not even that good, but I like to have it in my build. Next we have Impale. This is your main source of damage. This ability has no cooldown, but its use is limited by how much suit power you have. As you can see, when you run out, you can't use Impale anymore. And you just kinda have to wait for it to regen on its own. Or do you? The next ability on the list is Punish. This skill deals moderate damage and regenerates 30 suit power when used below 35 suit power. A well-timed punish can make or break your Stalker. Suit power is a very precious resource, and when you don't maintain it properly, the only thing you're left to do is shred, and that's no fun. While we're on the subject of fun, boom, let's talk about the clones. This is why this build is awesome. When you summon these bad boys, they get to work. They use Shred every 1.25 seconds and Impale every 5 seconds. So they get 2 Impales and a bunch of Shreds. You can do the math and figure out exactly how many. I'm not going to do it because I'm just not. Kidding aside, when these things are able to stay on target, they deal a very significant amount of damage, and they offer the added bonus in PvP of disorienting your opponent. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is nothing to take lightly. Next on the list, we're going to get into the utility. The first one is Pounce. This ability dashes your character forward 25 meters. If it hits a target, that target is snared. As far as utility goes, it's not that strong, but it offers you a very serious boost to mobility, and for Stalker, that's great. Next on the list, we have False Retreat. Boom. First activation will jump your character backwards a few meters. Boom. Second activation will jump you back to the original position, knocking down any opponents in the radius. It's a very versatile skill. You can delay the activation, you can activate it really fast, you can use the jump on top of stuff. It's crazy. We're almost done here, people. Next on the list is a skill called Preparation. It is a channeled ability. After 3 seconds of channeling, you gain a defense and an Empower. The Empower increases your critical hit rate. The defense increases your deflect chance. So that's what we call in the business versatility. The tier 4 bonus for this ability adds a heal for the duration of the channel. It amounts to roughly 4,000 HP at level 50. Last, but certainly not least, is Tactical Retreat. This is the bread and butter for Stalker PvP. Without this ability, you have no quick escapes. Alright, this ability rolls your character back 6 meters. It's 6 meters. After you're finished rolling back, you enter an advanced state of stealth. You can't be broken out of stealth for 2 seconds. The duration of the advanced stealth increases with the amount of points you put into this ability. Also, the tier 4 bonus breaks you out of CC. Okay, so those are the skills. Let's see them in some actual combat in Halls of the Bloodsworn. So, as you can see, I just captured this objective, but this guy is not going to let that rock. He's like, I'm going to take it back. I'm like, no, he's not. So I open up on him with some Impales, Punish, pop the clones immediately. He's overwhelmed. He doesn't know what's going on. There's 3 bodies on him. He's like, oh my god, who do I hit? Who do I hit? He's trying to hit the clones. I'm like, you gonna hit me. So the clones last for 10 seconds. It's not that long, but it's enough to get your opponent to low health, especially if they get disoriented, if they're confused by what's going on. And this guy was definitely confused. Finished him off with Shred. There you go. Plain and simple. That's what happens when the build works perfectly. But let's see what happens when things go a little bit less according to plan. Whoa, this is a lot going on. Let's slow it down. boom, the clones got knocked the down. And when they get knocked down, they can't get up again for the entire duration of the knockdown, or the root, or the stun. They're very susceptible to crowd control. Now, even though the clones are susceptible to CC, don't let that completely deter you from picking them up as an ability. Watch closely as they completely disorient the spell slinger. Okay, he's not completely disoriented, but he is a little bit confused as to which one is the real one. He definitely spends some time trying to shoot the little guys, well, they're the same height as me, so they're not really little guys, but he does waste some of his damage on the clones, and that is most definitely one of the purposes of the skill. If you can get your opponent to blow a big cooldown on a clone, then you win. Now, a warrior jumped into this fight. By this point, my clone was available to use again. I popped it, slid off to the side. The match ended, but the spell slinger and the warrior were both making attempts at focusing the clones. I was going to get away without a scratch. Well, I was scratched, but I wasn't going to die. Last but not least, I'm going to show you what it's like to actually fight the clones. It's not as easy as it looks. I know you're probably thinking to yourself, if I see a clone, I'm just going to attack the real one. Well, it's just confusing. Okay, now the Stalker I'm fighting in this instance, he used a clone of his own. I made an attempt at stabbing it. Needless to say, I was a little bit embarrassed. I've been foiled by my own trick. And now that I have been caught with my pants down, I'm going to take a pounding from these two guys. They're not going to let up. Homoerotic connotations aside, this has been my favorite Stalker build. If you think it looks cool, try it, you know? Let me know if it works for you. And if it doesn't work, then tell me it doesn't work, and tell me ways to improve it, ways to tweak it, make it cooler, make it more fun. That's what this is all about. It's all about sharing fun, Wildstar, video games, comedy. Comedy. What is comedy really? I mean, because like I'm not a comedian. Like I'm not that funny either, which I'm sure you have. Like you've already figured that part out. But I mean, hey, we gotta start somewhere, right? We got.